Vanbury Manor. Hello, I'm Ellen Cross from the Metropolitan. You must be the professor's former assistant.
I'm Adam Stoker. Welcome to Vanbury Manor. I've been told that one of the missing works has been found. Is that right?
Yes, it's wonderful news. The paintings were most likely stolen before the ship sank. That means we could actually find the other paintings sooner or later. The director told me that you have information on one of the pieces of the collection.
Absolutely. I looked through the professor's documents. They indicate that he was to send 16 paintings, not the 15 paintings we originally thought. But I don't have any information on this painting in particular. It would be easier if you look at the list yourself. It's on Vanbury's desk on the second floor. But you probably want to get settled first. The late professor's bedroom is the first door on the right on the second floor. You'll like it. There's a wonderful view. I'm just across the hall, but I promise I won't bother you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stoker.
Call me Adam.
All right, Adam. I'll settle down and look at the list of the paintings.
Oh, one more thing. I have to give some paperwork to the notary public who's taking care of the professor's inheritance. In case you want to call me, I've left the notary's number near the telephone.
Great, thanks. Sleeping pills. Maybe Vanbury had something to be worried about. Adam was right. The last work is not on my list. The work doesn't have a name, but it's the only work that does have a reference number. A307. That might be a call number for a book. This is where I should find the book labeled A307. I hope that the two books have just switched places. A guide to building model ships. Maybe Vambury made models. F405. Well, that looks like a new call number. The Dark Key. That's a memorable name for a ship. Vladovist. Oh, that sounds familiar. 2517. Vambury definitely wrote these numbers down for a reason. Dracula by Bram Stoker. Vambury really had a lot of secrets. I have to find a way to light up this room.
This painting is oppressive. I feel that it's watching my every move. I'm sure that he can see me. I don't know how my father could keep it so close to him all those years. As much as I hate it, I can't bring myself to destroy it. My father was convinced that this painting would bring about his downfall. Apparently, the Metropolitan Museum is interested in some paintings from my collection. If if I give them the portrait, it will probably end up gathering dust in their vast reserve collection. And wouldn't that be the best hiding place? Lose it in a mass of other far more famous works. He won't think of looking for it there, and I'll finally be at peace.
If I can trust this recording, the mystery painting is a portrait, a very special one. But I'm not sure if I can trust the professor's reasoning anymore. The professor must have spilled his ink bottle. It's illegible. But I think I can make a solution to remove the stain. This letter is probably about the tomb of Vanbury's parents. I'm writing to you. You'll have to start the paperwork for renewing the burial plot of your parents, the Wamburgers, soon. There's something different about the manor. I don't remember seeing this statue. I could go take a look at it. Requiem aeternam dona eis, Domine, et lux perpetua luceat eis. Adam might have an idea about where this engraving is. A storage room or a vault. Professor Vanbury's collection might be even larger than we thought.
Metropolitan Director's Office, hello?
Hello, Ellen Cross speaking.
Hello, Ellen. So, how is your stay in Whitby going?
Very well. I can confirm that Vanbury wanted to send an extra painting to the museum. It was a portrait that was supposedly painted by someone named Kanayek. The professor seemed to be particularly attached to this painting.
Kanayek. That doesn't ring a bell, but I'll do some research. What do you mean by particularly attached?
It's complicated. I found a recording where he talks about the painting. He sounded like he was scared of it.
What on earth are you trying to say?
Apparently his father handed this painting down to him. He kept it a secret. He was convinced that someone was coming to take it away from him. I know it sounds crazy, but the professor was an old man and...
And you think that he was losing his mental faculties? I knew Vanbury very well, and I don't think that he went senile. He was definitely on the eccentric side, but not senile. Find this painting. I'm sure that we'll understand better afterwards.
All right. I'll contact you as soon as I have some news. An ossuary. The cemetery must have been built on an old Celtic burial ground. A vault. I'm sure that Vanbury monitored the inside of this room from his office. Vade retro satana. Vanbury wanted to protect himself. This is definitely the room I saw on the surveillance cameras. A bust of Vlad Tepes. I get the creepy feeling that someone's watching me. There's something sick about this manor. I'm locked in. Adam will never come look for me here. I'll have to sort things out myself. I don't feel good. This is not a good time to faint. I've got to take some medicine. Garlic, a crossbow, and silver arrows. Real anti-vampire gear. Vanbury's passion for the Dracula story was more intense than I would have ever imagined. No, I should put the explosive in the right place before setting it off. Adam, is that you?
Ellen? What on earth is going on here? I heard an explosion!
I had to blast the wall of your bedroom to get out of a vault that Vanbury installed under the cemetery. I really thought I was never going to get out of there.
Get your breath back first, then tell me about it in the library. We'll be more comfortable there. What you've just told me is unbelievable. You're really something, Ellen. I was working for Vanbury for months, but I didn't have the faintest idea that there was this secret room and this vault. To tell you the truth, I would have never imagined that he was so passionate about Dracula. And I don't know why he would be so obsessed about him.
The missing portrait, the 16th painting, it's a clue related to his paranoia. He recorded a tape where he talks about an evil relic that he had to keep secret, as if it were a burden to him.
You don't think that it was a portrait of Dracula, do you?
Vanbury was afraid that the man in the portrait would come for the painting. Seeing that he has crossbows and silver stakes stored under the cemetery, it really gets you thinking. I found an old wax cylinder in the vault. Maybe it's connected to the painting.
There's a phonograph downstairs. You should be able to listen to it. Meanwhile, I'll take a look at the vault.
A cytale. It's a system that deciphers messages written on strips of paper. Cytales have been used since ancient times. Yanek Tev Kif Han S. Okak 734 110 Fatih. Istanbul. Yanik Tevkifan Sokak 7 34 110 Fatih, Istanbul. It looks like an address in Istanbul. This Yanik might be Frieden's accomplice.
November 1870. I have just come back to Budapest, exhausted, and no longer have the strength to write. I shall therefore dictate this journal to stamp in my memory the tragic events I experienced in Vladoviste. My struggle with Dracula concluded in a stalemate. The Count will certainly not come after me in Budapest, but I had to flee far from his land. If I were to return, I'd be immediately arrested as an accomplice to murder. In his Transylvanian stronghold, Dracula is untouchable. His will is law, and no one disobeys him. He does occasionally change his hunting ground, for he is hungry for new prey. That is the reason he bought a house in Budapest. Fate caused him to choose as his notary my friend Leon Hartner, then to desire his wife and take flight with her. But Jon, he set out in pursuit of the accursed couple. I quickly understood that the Count was drawing Luciana onto the path of the dragon. By an engagement present, he wanted to offer her eternity. We followed the lovers from city to city, but unfortunately, we were always one step behind. And when at last our long chase led us to Vladoviste, we didn't even have time to enter the Count's castle before the horror struck us. We were staying at the inn. My room communicated with Jon's. In the night, I I heard Luciana's voice calling out to her husband. My friend, neither ignoring or rather refusing to accept what his wife had become, invited her up to join him. His imprudence might be fatal. Luciana would have bled her husband dry if I hadn't intervened. I battered down the door between our rooms and pierced the vampire's heart. I urged Jon to leave the inn immediately, but he remained prostrate and refused to follow me. As I had feared, my friend was arrested and indicted for the murder of his wife. I learned he died in his cell. The papers spoke of suicide, but I discern in his death the work of the Count, whose influence extends into the prisons. Prudence obliged me to return to Budapest as quickly as possible. I forced myself, nonetheless, to visit Luciana's grave and deal with her corpse according to the ritual. I didn't want to leave without the absolute certainty that she'd lie in eternal peace. As for her master and lover, Count Dracula, I admit that I shrunk back from him. Others will come, I hope, to resume the combat. It is for them that I preciously conserve my archives on the path of the dragon. For me, the fight is over.
I can't believe it. The note on the side of the cylinder says that the professor's grandfather made the recording. I'm starting to understand why he was so obsessed with Dracula. He was brought up in a vampire-fearing environment, and he grew up with the enormous burden of having to keep a portrait of the vampire secret. The more I discover, the more surreal this whole story becomes. But I would be immensely disappointed to leave the investigation before actually seeing the painting.
Metropolitan Director's Office, hello?
Hello, it's Ellen Cross.
Ellen, so, what's the update?
I haven't gotten a hold of the portrait, but I have made some disturbing discoveries. Vanbury was totally paranoid. He installed a vault underneath the cemetery adjacent to the manor. Inside, I found a real Vlad Tepes museum.
Living in the town of the Dracula novel ended up getting to him. Poor guy. And I found information on the painter Kanayek. He was a 16th century Istanbul artist. I haven't found any mention of his works. However, my assistant tells me that through the centuries the name Kanayek became Yannick.
Yannick? I can't believe it. Friedland, the Budapest prisoner, had an encoded message in his belongings. I managed to decipher it. It's the address of someone named Yannick in Istanbul.
Ellen, have you ever been to Turkey?
No.
Well, here's your opportunity. Go and pay a visit to this man. If he's a descendant of the painter Kanayek, he might be able to give you information on the portrait. Also, try to get more information on his connection with Friedland, but be careful.
Very well. I have to go to Istanbul. We might have found a man from the Kanayek family. Kanayek is the painter who painted the portrait.
Budapest, Whitby, and now Turkey. And to think that I thought that working for museums was really boring. From the time I've known you, I've had nothing but surprises.
I would have preferred to visit Istanbul under different circumstances. The man I have to meet there might have been in contact with the thief who died in Budapest.
It's a disturbing coincidence. Kaniak's descendant could thus be an accomplice in the Vanbury collection robbery.
That's possible. And if it turns out to be true, I'll have to be careful.
I would have liked to be your escort, but I have to stay here until the professor's inheritance is settled. But I would be really happy if you could keep me posted on this affair.
I will.
Take care of yourself, Ellen.
You too, Adam. Hello?
Hello, Miss Cross. This is the reception desk. You have received a package. We have brought it up to your room. I think it is on the desk.
All right, thank you. Hello? Is anyone there? Mr. Yannick? Apparently there's no one here. This looks like Lilith, a painting by John Collier. It was part of the Vanbury collection.
Who let you in?
Sorry, I asked if anyone was inside. The door was ajar, and I thought that... You must be Mr. Yannick. Sorry for intruding.
I am Mr. Yannick.
I'm Ellen Cross. I work for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. I'd like to speak with you.
You could have phoned before just showing up at my place without asking.
I didn't have your number. I'm looking for a Kaniak painting. The information I have says that he was one of your ancestors.
A very distant one.
I was hoping that you might have some of the works he painted.
Unfortunately, I don't.
Does this name sound familiar to you?
You said Friedland. And why would I know him?
It's not important.
But you've come all the way here to find out, right? You look really feverish all of a sudden, Miss Cross.
I'm tired. Probably because of my flight. I realize that you can't help me. Sorry for bothering you. I'll bet that the painting I saw in his studio is the John Collier original. He was about to leave. I could take advantage of his departure to take a look at the painting. But first, I need to find a place hidden from view where I can wait until his departure. That's probably Yannick leaving his place. I hope he didn't see me come in. This looks like one of Vambury's Bruegel paintings. Yannick disguises stolen paintings. But who does he work for? The mechanics of this theater are fascinating. I'll have to restore the puppet to figure out what this theater can do. This arm should do the trick. I'll just have to paint and cut it now. Perfect. Poor man. Yannick's a lot more dangerous than I thought. Better not hang around here too much longer. I should gather some evidence so that police can take me seriously. Yet another wrist tattoo. But it's a dragon this time. It's empty. Yannick must have gone through his pockets before I came around. As soon as I get out of here, I'm calling the police. The Metropolitan stamp and the reference number of the Vanbury Collection's last painting. Seeing how complex the lock system is, this chest may very well contain the portrait that absolutely terrified the professor, the one we've been after all this time. If I can only bring back one painting, it will be that one. I heard some noise. That must be Yannick. I can't have him find me. I'm lucky the attic's not that high off the ground. That was a narrow escape. I'll have to tell the police and the museum about it as soon as possible.
The Metropolitan? Hello?
Hello, it's Ellen. Yannick is definitely involved in the painting theft. I've found several Vanbury collection paintings at his place.
That's great news.
There was also a corpse at his place. We have to tell the Turkish police about this as soon as possible.
No, wait a second, Ellen. Calm down. So, there was a corpse. But how did you get into Yannick's place?
You're better off not knowing.
All right. But if you broke into the scene of a crime, you might be stuck in Istanbul for as long as the investigation lasts. Do you have evidence to back you up?
Yes, I took photos and picked up a chest. I think the last painting in the collection is inside.
The portrait of Dracula? You haven't seen what's inside, and you're already as obsessed with this painting as the professor was. I hope the painting won't disappoint you. Until then, don't tell the authorities. I'll tell them as soon as you're on the plane for New York. We can't have you and this chest held up for months because of this murder tale. Ellen Cross's adventure continues. But her days are numbered.